ABC7 News at 11 on your side.
And up first at 11 tonight, Storm Watch team coverage. Another round of severe weather brings fallen trees, fires, and flooding all along with it. The good news, though, is the severe weather is now over. Our reporters are out surveying the damage all over the region, and we'll have live reports for you right here in just a moment. But let's start now with meteorologist Steve Rudin. Steve, now we made it through a bumpy night. How's the rest of the night look?
You know, a lot better, Leon. It took us about 6 hours to get rid of the storms, and now finally all of the watches, all of the warnings are down for the entire ABC7 News viewing area. Take a look for yourself. This is the map that originally was all lit up. Nothing on it right now. The worst of the storms have now moved off toward the south and east of us. We'll take a trip down to southern Maryland, where the stronger thunderstorms are located right now across St. Mary's County. All of this moves on off across the bay. And as mentioned, we have no warnings, no active warnings out there right now, and no watches. Tomorrow, it looks a whole lot better. We will see warm conditions, lower humidity levels, but a lot of sunshine. Waking up to temperatures in the lower 70s. Will be in the lower 80s by the noontime hour. Highs in the upper 80s. Talking about that weekend forecast and a huge cool down in just a few minutes. Leon?
Okay, Steve. Now, some of the worst hit areas are in Montgomery County. Our Jay Corp was out in Mobile Track 7 tonight as those storms rolled in. He was rolling around himself, and he watched as the worst of it knocked down dozens of trees and knocked a shed some 25 feet off its foundation. Jay's live now near Dickerson with a look at the aftermath and the cleanup happening right now at this hour. Jay.
Leon, a tremendous amount of damage at this farm. We believe that this shot illustrates it best. Check out this huge barn behind me, okay? That's the foundation over there, about 25 feet away. This storm ripped apart this 8-foot-tall concrete foundation.
I'm just trying to get home. I'm just trying to figure out another way.
Pounding hail, wind, and rain plowed through rural Montgomery County, Maryland Tuesday, unleashing widespread damage.
It was horrible. It was like a monsoon.
This is the scene all over 28. Navigating Route 28 near Dickerson proved dangerous as countless downed trees and debris coated miles of pavement.
Kind of like you're driving through the jungle. There's just trees and leaves all over the road, and you can't really see them because it's raining so hard.
Just to get to Oak Ridge Farm, owner David Scott Jr. had to employ one of his biggest tractors to clear a massive tree blocking the road. What we witnessed while approaching his farm proved Mother Nature's overwhelming might.
It's pretty upsetting. It's a lot of damage.
The wind ripped shingles off a neighbor's home, sending slate and nails flying. Debris punched a hole through Scott's house.
It got really loud, and then all the hail was coming against the house.
The storm ripped up and tossed parts of a several-ton grain bin out into his soybean field.
It threw the silo pieces at least a quarter mile, yes. That's part of the roof over there.
The wind even lifted a large barn 20 feet off its foundation.
I don't know what it was, some kind of a twister or what it was, but
it was powerful.
It was powerful, yeah.
And he says it will take weeks to clean up dozens of massive trees that now litter the landscape.
And now back live, check out this amazing footage with this large light I'm shining on the corrugated metal of this massive, once massive grain bin rather. So this is the original location where the grain bin was located. Most of it is about a quarter mile back that way in the soybean field. And amazingly, no one was injured. Live near Dickerson, Maryland, Jay Corf, ABC7 News.
Well, thanks, Jay. Stunning to think it may not have been a tornado that did all that damage. Now, more than 20 families are displaced tonight after lightning ignited a fire in Greenbelt. This is the 200 block of Lakeside Drive you're seeing here. That strike triggered a 2-alarm fire. There were no injuries reported, and the Red Cross now is assisting those families in need. The storms also brought down a tree at an apartment complex in Germantown, and you can see limbs there scattered all throughout the property. The gutter was ripped off the roof. There was damage to the building, and the tree also landed on top of somebody's Mercedes SUV out there in the parking lot. Luckily, though, there were no injuries. In Fairfax County alone, crews dealt with some 30 road closures tonight. Fallen wires shut down Ox Road near Braddock Road, and there are widespread power outages in that region. And that road closure could last for several more hours. Our Richard Reeve joins us now live from there with a look at what's ahead tonight for the folks there. Richard, what a mess out there. Tell us about it.
Leon, sure is. You can look behind me right now and see what's going on. They got Ox and Braddock blocked off here. You can see they have the flares there in the middle of the road, the smoke going everywhere, police cars parked in the middle of the intersection. And when we pan over, you can see why. Check out these power lines here. We saw some trees leaning on power lines here. We also saw power poles snap. That gives you a sense of the force of the wind out here. Now, it began a lot earlier. Let's take a look here on GW Parkway. This is looking southbound now, and a tree blocked that southbound left-hand lane for quite a while. It caused a huge slowdown, and of course, problems. This poor guy, he went off into a ditch. He says he got dinged from behind. Now, in Alexandria, picturesque shots of the lightning that was out there. Just beautiful shots. Gives you a sense of how large this storm was. But the big story tonight in Fairfax was the issues with power. Complete darkness along the Braddock Road corridor. You could see almost nothing here. No gas stations, no traffic lights, no shopping plazas, everything completely in the dark. It made for a huge headache for drivers.
Of course, it's kind of scary, you know, and getting back here, all the roads are blocked off. Getting here, we had to cut through Mason. I mean, it's usually a 5-minute trip. Took us about 45 minutes.
And before we go, we wanted to show you, this is a giant food market plaza, normally filled with people, will be very well lit, completely in the dark right now. And we saw this again and again, all up and down this area. It's going to be a difficult night for a lot of folks. Live in Fairfax, Richard Reeve, ABC7 News.
Okay, thanks, Richard. We'll have to see how they fare in the morning. Now, let's stay in Virginia, in Northern Virginia and Alexandria. This tree fell in the 800 block of Franklin Street, and it's blocking Alfred Street. There's some damage to the sidewalk, as you see there, and some wires are down as well in that area. No word on how soon that's going to be cleaned up, so be careful if you're in that area. Across the Potomac now, downpours in the district coming just as people were heading home for the day, sending a lot of folks scrambling out there. Tom Rousey now, live in Northwest with a look at the situation there at this hour. Tom.
Well, good evening from Georgetown, where we saw an awful big tree that landed right on Volta Place over here. Crews have arrived to try to clean it up. It did a little damage. It actually damaged a vehicle, which we'll show you in a second. But first, let me show you some video as these storms rolled through DuPont Circle tonight. It happened at the tail end of rush hour, and you can see it was a heck of a storm that rolled through. Folks were trying to run to get out of the way, but they weren't quick enough in most cases because the rain was just coming down so hard and the wind was blowing really hard as well. Fortunately, though, we drove around different parts of D.C. and it doesn't look like the damage in D.C. was anything like what you just saw in Maryland and Virginia. So overall, D.C. looking pretty good. Now back out here live, this vehicle has sawdust on it right now, but it's dented right there because the tree actually landed on it that these guys are cleaning up, and he just blew that off. So you might be able to see a little better some of the dents that are on the vehicle. Believe it or not, the owner of that vehicle tells me that the tree fell before the storms. I don't know if the storms over the weekend loosened up the tree or whatever, but she says it fell about 3:30 before the big storms that rolled through around rush hour tonight here in D.C. Short time from now, Volta Place here will be back open in Georgetown. Reporting live in Georgetown, I'm Tom Rousey, ABC7 News.
All right, thanks, Tom. Going to be hard to sleep with those chippers working overnight. 7 is on your side, folks, when there's severe weather like this on the radar, so sign up for text alerts from our Storm Watch team. Just go to WJLA.com/text, and we will hit you on your mobile devices. Breaking at this hour now, a deadly accident in northern Montgomery County. News Chopper 7 out over the scene in Bealsville. This is on Darnestown Road at Cattail Road. A car there hit a pole. No word on exact circumstances or what led up to this crash. Police say their response was affected by fallen wires in that area as well tonight. New at 11 now, new information about the only man arrested in the murders of a D.C. family and their housekeeper. Tonight, CNN aired a special focused on the killings of Savas, Amy, and Philip Savopoulos and Vera Figueroa. That program said that suspect Darren Wint's green card was already in jeopardy. He was arrested for receiving stolen property. Immigration and Customs Enforcement was never notified about that arrest.
If Darren Wint is arrested in March And ICE never received those fingerprints until after he's arrested for the quadruple murders. Then it tells me that there's a breakdown in the system somewhere.
Now, Darren
Went is due back in court July 2nd. Tonight, the frantic moments as a Yellow Line metro train filled with smoke. Today, the operator's testimony was released during a hearing before the NTSB. James Curley says he didn't think much about the smoke until he saw it. But despite pleading to return that train to the station platform, the command center told him to stand by. This, even as Curley says he frantically pleaded that people were screaming and trying to break the glass doors. He says the command center eventually told him another train was there already at the platform and he couldn't move. Still ahead on ABC7 News at 11, inside the arrest of suspected church gunman Dylan Roof, including the surprising thing that officers bought for him. And new revelations about a deal between escaped convicts and a prison worker. Coming up next. New developments tonight as we get our first look at dash cam video of the arrest of Dylan Roof. Roof is suspected of shooting 9 people to death inside of a Charleston church last week. He was arrested in Shelby, North Carolina last Thursday. And just today, the police chief told a newspaper that Roof was hungry at the time. So an officer bought him a Burger King meal. The South Carolina House will consider removing that Confederate flag from the State House grounds that's generated so much controversy. Hundreds rallied outside the State House today to talk about it. Some say the flag is a symbol of division and hate. Others say it's a part of history. Major retailers, by the way, including Walmart, eBay, and Amazon, have already vowed to remove any products featuring that flag. 8 states are now looking to make changes when it comes to Confederate symbols, and that includes Virginia and Maryland. Today, Governor Terry McAuliffe moved to get Confederate license plates off the roads in the Commonwealth. He's citing last week's Supreme Court decision that gives states the right to remove them. The nearly 1,600 plates that are currently on the road will have to go. Larry Hogan in Maryland says that he's also against the plates, and he's working on getting rid of them there in the Free State. Happening now, investigators are getting a better idea of the relationship between a former prison tailor and 2 escaped killers. CNN reports that Joyce Mitchell used baked goods to win favors for Richard Matt and David Sweat. She also admits to smuggling hacksaw blades into the prison inside of frozen meat. Matt and Sweat escaped from a prison in upstate New York 18 days ago and are still on the run. 6 Baltimore police officers pleaded not guilty in the death of Freddie Gray. Gray died in April from a severe spinal cord injury that he suffered while in custody. Tonight, new details in his autopsy report have been revealed. By the way, obtained by the Baltimore Sun, and it determined that Gray's injury was likely caused when the transport van suddenly slowed down. The state medical examiner's office says it fits the description of an accident but was ruled a homicide because officers failed to follow safety procedures. The officer's trial is scheduled for October 13th. Tonight's storm's part of the same system that spawned tornadoes in the Midwest last night. At least 13 tornadoes touched down in Illinois, Michigan, and Ohio. The strongest storm believed to have been an EF3, I should say, with winds of 160 miles per hour. A lot of folks had to be rescued out of their homes after storms moved through the region. And while there were some injuries, there were no reported deaths. So there is something good to talk about there.
Absolutely.
What a mess, though.
And thank goodness no tornadoes here, but let me tell you, the sky, it was scary looking.
It was a fireworks show out there.
At around 5:30 to 7 o'clock or so, the lightning display was awesome. But look at this. This is our sunset earlier this evening at 8:30. Once the storms cleared from our camera at National Harbor, looks nice.
Looks beautiful.
Looks beautiful. So all those storms are now to the south and east of us. They got the wheel going at around 8 o'clock to enjoy the sunset. And tomorrow will be a beautiful day. Low humidity, cooler temperatures, and a lot of sunshine. Those storms are now located just on the tip of southern Maryland, have now moved through Lexington Park around the Beltway. It is dry, and look what's going on off to the west of us across the panhandle of West Virginia and western Maryland. Our skies are beginning to clear. Welcome news and a welcome change in terms of cooler temperatures on the way tomorrow. 96 degrees, that was our high at Reagan National Airport. Our average for this date is 87. Will be near average for the day tomorrow. It's going to feel much better. 76 degrees this hour, winds out of the west-southwest at 5. Dew point levels are still in the lower 70s. That's why it feels a little bit sticky out there. Give it another few hours. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, it will be feel a lot nicer out there in terms of not as sticky, not as humid. 72 in Gaithersburg, 70 in Frederick, 70 in Hagerstown, the same in Cumberland. You get the point. Our temperatures are cooling down nicely as they move through the overnight hours. The coolest air well to the north of us. That warm, humid air now suppressed to the south. 88 degrees right now in Norfolk. 88 in Richmond. They'll see the thunderstorms later on tonight into early tomorrow morning. That will help cool them down. Our nighttime low 65 to 72 degrees. A few lingering storms mainly across southern Maryland. Otherwise less humid and cooler. Winds will be out in the northwest at 5 to 10. Our futurecast looks like this. Great for the day tomorrow, but as we move into the day on Thursday, we're going to look for clouds to begin to increase. Temperatures will warm up just a little bit more, and we may see an isolated shower or hear a few rumbles of thunder, but limited to just about a 30% chance. So most of you won't see anything at all. Tomorrow, though, fantastic. 88 degrees, not as humid, lots of sunshine, winds out of the north at just around 6 to 12 miles per hour. Take you out with a look at the extended outlook. 87 on Thursday, 84 on Friday. By the time we get to the upcoming weekend, not only are we talking about clouds and showers, but also cooler temperatures. Our models right now show around 76 degrees both Saturday and Sunday. Wow. We have one model out there for Sunday, get this, that shows high temperatures only in the 60s.
Are you serious?
So hopefully we won't see temperatures that cool.
So literally within a 4 or 5 day period, we could see 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yep.
And we have to 90
and heat
today.
index readings around 105.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's just crazy.
Summer.
Things got a little crazy at the stadium tonight?
Speaking of crazy, yeah, definitely. The rain. Well, we got out of there before it came, though, so lucky for us. And we'll talk football. Long day for Tom Brady. He sat in a New York courtroom for 10 hours today. That's like a high school kid in Saturday detention. Details on his appeal, that's next in sports.
And now the Toyota Sports Desk, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers.
All right, we'll start tonight with some baseball. Nats and Braves. Tonight, Steven Strasburg with his first start after being placed on the DL. Strauss went 5 innings, no runs on 4 hits, 6 Ks, so I guess you could say it was a good night back for the young star. And he had help from the bats as well. 4th inning, Michael A. Taylor rips one to left. So after that, Danny Espinosa would hustle home to try to beat the play at the plate. He's safe. Nats take a 3-0 lead after that. Right now, they lead the Braves 3-0 in the 7th inning. All right, O's and Red Sox, top of the 2nd. O's with the 1-0 lead. David Lowe showing out. He sends one to left field. That's not coming back. It's a 3-run shot. O's take a 4-0 lead after that. They go on to win this one, the final 6-4. College Baseball World Series, Vandy and UVA cast facing elimination, but there's life in the 6th inning. Bases loaded for Tommy Woodruff. He gets the hit to center. That would be enough to bring in 2 runs. UVA takes a 3-0 lead after that. Right now, they lead 3-0 in the 8th inning. All right, on to football. Tom Brady's not going to want to look at a courtroom ever again after today. He arrived at court 9:30 in the morning. His hearing lasted for 10 hours as Brady and his team appealed for that 4-game suspension issued by the NFL. That suspension a result of reports from New York attorney Ted Wells saying Brady more than likely knew about the balls being deflated in that AFC title game. The key for Brady's team was to prove that the Wells report is flawed and based on circumstantial evidence that was mischaracterized. There is no timetable for Roger Goodell to rule on that appeal. All right, Mystics at Verizon tonight hosting the LA Sparks. Natasha Cloud with the steal. She's on the break. Finds Tierra Ruffin Pratt, and Pratt would try to get 3 the old-fashioned way with the and 1. She finished with 20 on the night. Mystics get the win. The final for this one, 84-80. All right, back to baseball for our play of the night. Cubs and Dodgers, and watch the foul ball. Adrian Gonzalez, he thought he had it. Not so fast.
Oh, nice.
The fan makes the barehanded catch, and oh yeah, he has a baby in the other hand. Gets a nice round of applause, of course, from the home crowd, but the Dodgers weren't happy about it. They appealed the play, and officials determined the fan interfered by reaching into the field of play. So, yeah, exactly. It was called as an out, but oh, baby, was that a sweet grab? How about that? And a final note, the NBA draft is this Thursday. The Wizards hosted their final pre-draft workout. One name that stood out today, J.R. Hunter of Georgia State. We were just talking about Atlanta.
That's right.
Yeah.
RJ, he's a shooter.
He's a player.
Yeah, he is. He stepped up big time in the NCAA.
Exactly. He had a nice little run right there.
That's right. All right. I think his dad may come with the deal, too. And his chair.
Exactly.
I know Hunt. He's a good buddy of mine. All right, coming up, a new deal in the air. How about some unlimited flights? How much it'll cost you and where this can go and who's behind it? Coming up next.
Countdown to 4th of July, brought to you by Giant.
Stunning revelations about the deadly Metro smoke incident. The new documents are the top trending story on WJLA.com. And Maryland and Virginia moving to ditch license plates featuring images of the Confederate flag. And Steve's forecast for the week, all available to you right now on WJLA.com. Now, there were a lot of deals out there, all you can eat, all you can drink, but how about this? All you can fly. That's right. A startup company called OneGo allows you to fly unlimited flights on commercial airlines for a monthly fee of $1,500. Wi-Fi, TSA pre-check access, and one free check bag included on every flight. OneGo says that you can book with airlines like American, Delta, United, and Virgin America through the company's app. And the service is expected to go live this fall with service on the West Coast first. But you know, there's got to be a catch. Got to be center seat, last aisle, last row, something. We'll have a final look at the forecast when we come back. Okay, better times ahead for tomorrow, right?
Better times ahead. Temperatures in the the upper 80s compared to the upper 90s that we had today. 88 degrees, I'll take that. 87 on Thursday, just a chance for a passing thunderstorm during the afternoon hours. Friday, not the greatest day, middle 80s, but look at Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be a cool weekend, a wet weekend, especially on Saturday, and I think these temperatures may be a bit optimistic, so look for those to possibly go down as we move through the next couple of days.
Really?
Really.
Okay. And we'll, after a day like today, we'll take
the break.
Take it a
days. It'll be okay.
All right, that's it for us tonight. Jimmy Kimmel Live next. See you tomorrow.